Hey guys, it's Dr. Neville Campbell here again, and welcome back to the Wellness Hustle podcast. Once again, I know everyone has been watching the podcast. You've been seeing the episodes, seeing the guests that are coming on, the caliber of these people, their credentials, but more importantly, what impact they're making, the lives that they're changing, and the practices that they've developed, and how these practices have been shaping the spaces they're in here in Atlanta. Folks, today we have another powerful guest with us. This is attorney Josh Palmer. He's here with us today to tell us a lot of things, but most importantly, to hear his story, his journey, what makes him unique, what makes his clients choose him over other attorneys in the space, and what he plans to do in the next couple of years as he navigates this space. Attorney Palmer, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. Thank you for coming. Again, it's been a while since we've been trying to connect, and so I'm really happy that you've been able to make the podcast today.
Yeah, man, I'm blessed and honored to be here with you. I'm here with one of the biggest in the game, one of the legends in the game. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate you coming. So, like I said, before, the podcast episodes are fairly, easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're chill. We have casual conversations, but sometimes they get a little deep, right? They get a little deep based on, how the conversation is flowing and how things are moving. So we'll just see how things go. We'll take it step by step. Yeah. If something feels uncomfortable, you can lean into it or you can lean out of it. Again,
let's
the podcast
is
let's go all the way in, all right?
In.
Because you know what? That's what resonates with people, right? When we get to those places. So just about your practice, man, I'm gonna start off with that first, the easiest things first, your practice. Tell us about your practice. When did you start your practice? What inspired the start of your practice?
Well, I started my practice in 2017, and we do personal injury, car accidents, truck accidents, wrongful death, a lot of premise liability, negligent security, which is nightclub shootings, apartment complex shootings, sexual assaults in the place of business, the whole 9 yards of personal injury. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then, so do you have a physical location or a virtual presence, or which areas do you cover?
Yeah, so our physical location is in Warner Robins,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a couple of staff members that go in there, but we're pretty much virtual. We've been virtual since the beginning, so we have people all over Georgia. I work from home every single day. I go to the office every now and then, but pretty much virtual. We get on a computer in the morning, and our teams we're connected, and we talk to each other every single day. So we're virtual, but we're even more connected than
you were if you're in the office together.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how Microsoft Teams and these other platforms make you feel like you're connected to the person because the conversations are so dynamic.
Right.
But they could be miles and miles and hundreds of miles away.
Definitely.
But based on the collaboration, it really feels like it's a team that you're working on.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful thing. So, with your virtual presence and your physical location, which areas are you guys focusing on or targeting as it relates to business? Is it the entire Atlanta area? Is it the surrounding areas? Like, where is your focus?
Yeah, so our focus is Atlanta, of course, but we have a big presence in Middle Georgia, which is Warner Robins and Macon, and then south side of Atlanta, which is Henry County, Clayton County, McDonough, those areas. So Atlanta all the way down to Middle Georgia, and then they come in from here and there, we'll still take them. But that's our focus.
And how do you guys get the word out about your practice?
A lot of our cases are word of mouth.
Gotcha.
So we do good work, and then somebody will refer, and then a big proportion is social media. I have a big social media presence. Every week I get multiple cases from Instagram, Facebook. I just started getting from TikTok. So my social media presence is real big, and that's the main thing right there.
The blessings of God.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me, you started your practice in 2019.
Yeah.
What led you to law?
Law. So I didn't always want to be a lawyer. My dad's a doctor. He's a family physician. So I wanted to follow into his footsteps. And then, when I got to college, got to those science classes and those
Didn't work
chemistries and
out.
all those, I was like, this ain't for me. Let me switch it up. Let me figure out what I want to do. And I knew I wanted to be, someone professional, someone that helped people, and someone that can make an impact in the world. So I was like, yeah, let me try this law thing out.
Gotcha. When did you know that you wanted to make an impact?
Early on, in college, in high school, I read this book called Think and Grow Rich, and then that kind of just changed my mindset. That kind of just, opened up my eyes that I can be somebody, that I can be somebody big, that I can influence others to do big things. So early on, I just wanted to be somebody great.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Was finances an issue for you when you were growing up?
Not really. So my dad's a doctor, so we was pretty well off, but coming in, starting my firm, the first year I came out of law school, I worked for somebody and I wasn't getting paid anything. I couldn't afford an apartment. I couldn't afford this. So, while I was working there that year, I was living with my parents because I couldn't afford anywhere. And then, after that year and I learned the game, I started my firm up in my parents' attic. I just had a table, my computer, and just the little money that I saved up. So, I kind of just live frugal, through that process of, getting that first job to where I am now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a solid thing, man. I think a lot of individuals, whether they're lawyers or doctors, they're desirous of starting their own practice, right? But there's a process that goes into that.
Right.
You said earlier, learning the game. What does that mean?
Well, when you get out, you don't know what you don't know. So, so that firm that I worked for, it was a volume firm. And, what a volume firm is one of those firms that just have too many cases that they, don't know what to do with them. So I came in and, I started off as the receptionist, and then to the case manager, to settlements, to paralegal, to this, doing all the grunt work, because so many cases, you got to do everything. And I was seeing so many cases every day, and I just had to learn the game, because when you're in law school, they're not going to teach you what's out there. That's why that's called practice. You got to get out there and practice. You're not going to learn anything in school.
Gotcha. Going back to when you were, I'm going to come back to this later about practice currently, because I think there's some lessons that we need to extract from current practice, some of the pitfalls that you've encountered. We're going to explore some of that. But going back to when you were younger, trying to find your way, looking at how you can make an impact. You mentioned that your dad, being a physician, the family was, maybe not wealthy, but you had enough to be comfortable. Some would say, not that this applies to you, but in that position, well, it would have worked out for you anyway, because you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Your dad gave you access, or family gave you access to the resources you needed, to succeed, and and so it stands to reason that no wonder why you would succeed. Would you agree with that?
No, because I think, just because you have the resources, that doesn't mean you have the drive, because, it's plenty of people with families that are well off, and, they don't do nothing. They don't have that drive to be somebody. I have family members that, they're not really doing anything. Right. So, it's really on that drive, it's on that individual. It will help, but if you don't have that in you, you're not gonna make it. Yeah. It's really more so the knowledge that you can pass down and instill, because my dad we used to have, these book clubs, and then, it'll be me and all my friends and the kids from the hood and all that, and they'll come over to the house, and, we'll have to read a book every month, and then, we'll discuss it and, talk about life and this and that. And a lot of those kids are, doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, doing big things, so it's really the knowledge that you pass down.
Gotcha. I mean, certainly having that atmosphere that is conducive to success is helpful. But you mentioned earlier about the importance of drive.
Right.
We're going to dive into that a little bit more. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have 2 sisters,
Yeah.
and one of my sisters, she's actually a lawyer too. She works for me.
Okay, that's beautiful. Keep it in the family.
Yeah, keep it family. I hired her. I had to fire her a couple times, but,
but, hey man, that's family. That's how it is, right?
Yeah, but she's rocking with me still.
That's nice. Hey, what are the others doing?
My other one, she works for, I forgot what company she works for. One of the she does something with IT.
Okay, but she's doing something professional.
Yeah.
And what is the other one doing?
It is those 2. So the one is the lawyer, and then the other one is in the IT. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm always curious because you mentioned drive, right?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to see sort of what the family members are doing right now, because sometimes you have children that are born to the same parents.
Right. Yeah.
But drive is different because one ends up excelling significantly, and the other doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
so
that has to do with drive.
Right, yeah. So my sister, that's a lawyer, she's a lawyer, but she don't have to drive like that. She it's not really drive, it's the she doesn't like to leave the house. She likes to just
gotcha.
Yeah, she just like to be in the house and just do this, do that. So, she's just there doing that. And then my other sister, is not really huge job. So out of all 3 of us, I would be the one that's like up there.
Yeah.
And then other 2,
Yeah.
I'm pulling y'all up with me. Come on.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's
yeah,
go.
let's go. Y'all come with me.
So hearing that, and it's tricky because when you talk about these things, they're not necessarily the most comfortable things to talk about, but certainly, to stand in that steed and to really pull everyone else, you really have to, you can't be afraid of the position. You have to own it, right? And own it sometimes means that you have to somehow step in a space of discomfort with them as you're owning that leadership space, to gain the respect that you need to pull them forward. But I'm still wondering about this drive. How do we get this drive? Mind you, we're in the same household, same mom and dad, same access to resources, but you, in your evolution, your process, developed a greater drive that now pushes you but pulls the rest with you. What is it that you found?
I'm not really sure. I always been someone that through God's purpose, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I just felt like, with that verse, everything that I have, I need to go big. I need to win big. I need to do everything I can to live in His purpose, to live like to my higher power, to my higher self. And that's just really the root of it. I don't know the answer to that, but that's the root of it. I just always
that's a great answer.
I feel like God gave me the gift, and God gave everybody the power to be something greater.
Right.
Yeah.
So just to share a little bit about me. So my family, right? I have a lot of brothers. I have 2 sisters and 5 brothers. And I would say professionally, about 3 or 4 of us have done advanced training, right? With, of course, me being the youngest and also the one who has excelled the most. And every time when I do something, I have my siblings ask me, oh my goodness, something else.
Right.
And something else, like, where are you now? And what are you doing now? What's the next thing?
Yeah,
and, they stand in awe and amazed at how I find the time to do all these things, or how am I finding the time to read through and learn these things. And like you just now, I probably would have not know how to answer that question either, because I'm always curious. What is it that I found? What is it that made me push so much harder?
And what do you think?
So I think one, being the last child, people would say, you last child, you get spoon fed everything.
Right.
I didn't feel that. I felt like I had to work so much harder because I was in the shadows of everyone else. And being in the shadows of them, I would always be seen through the filters that they would see them, heard through their filters. But I needed to have my own identity. And I think that was the initial push.
Right.
That I needed to really work harder to separate, to differentiate myself. But in that searching and in that working harder, I think purpose came to me. And purpose for me, at least how I live my life now. And I didn't know that this is my purpose until now, when I'm looking back at all the different settings that I've been in, the different decades that I've lived my life, and people who have come in contact with me in the different areas and spaces, whether it's school, church, gym, this and that. I've noticed that I've always left an impact.
Right.
And I think during that earlier phase, I said to God, I want to do your will, and I want to do whatever it is that you're calling me to do. But I also want to be different from the rest. Guide me, show me, teach me, help me to understand. Don't send that person to tell me this. I'm listening to hear from you directly.
Right.
And I went through this process where, I went through belief, disbelief, back and forth, until I believe that I finally started hearing. And the voice became as clear as day.
Right.
As to what I needed to do. And that's really when things started to change, because people's opinions became less.
Yeah.
Less impactful. They didn't really change my course. I will receive it, but I'll not let it alter my direction.
Right.
And once I locked in on purpose, I realized that every setting was rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And it was doing the things that I was passionate about.
Yep.
Helping, sharing.
That's what it's about.
Giving knowledge and information if I had it with me.
Right.
Putting people on if I had connections and contacts. If someone needed help, I'm over there. So just living the life that I grew up doing, the things. People would say, oh, you do too much, or you're over and extending. Maybe for you, but for me, this is what I naturally do.
Yeah, it's your lifestyle.
It's my lifestyle, so it doesn't feel like it's work.
Yeah, it comes natural. Yeah.
Naturally, and so everywhere I've gone to, that seems to be the difference that has really changed things up. So again, like you, I'm not certain if there's a specific, time, but I know that it happened in my early teens. That's when the switch happened. And once it activated, it hasn't turned off.
Right.
And I will not turn it off, because to me, every circle that I go in, every space that I get to, every country that I go to, and people who I come in contact with, I believe that I have a purpose and a responsibility. People need to leave feeling like they can do more, that they have done the best, and that people need to feel inspired. And so I've tried to, package this, and deliver it as impactful as I possibly can, given the short time frame that I interact with people. But I think that is what sets people, apart. When you find, like I mentioned earlier on the other session, when you find your purpose, and you begin to see the impact and the manifestations of that impact, then that becomes the fuel that drives you to continue to do more and to do way much more, because you're seeing the direct impacts of what you're doing.
Yeah. So we have our my handle is Win Big Lawyer, and then we have the Win Big Culture. So, what it is, it's not about the checks. It's the lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's a way of living. And, when the clients come to us, of course our job is getting them paid, but also our job is to counsel them. They come to us in a bad situation, but when they leave, we want them to, feel empowered. We want them to, feel like they can do more. It's kind of like you you get a team of motivators.
Of course, yes.
So after they leave, they're a teacher. Then we want them to, be the win big teacher and have the students have the highest grades. If they're, doctor, we want them to, when the patients come in hurt, we want them to make sure that the patients feel better, but also, be in a better state than they were when they came.
Amen.
You're a janitor. We want the
same thing to happen.
Yeah, we want to be the cleanest facility.
Yeah.
So the win big culture, win big mindset. Yeah,
I like that, folks. The win big culture, win big mindset. I like that. I believe that it is so critical. It is really so critical to lead with value. I see a lot of doctors and attorneys and business partners, and people lead with what they would like to see out of the relationship. Right? I'm leading because I would like to get this from you, and I would like to get that from you. So this is how I'm positioning sort of my direction, because I'm always looking. People are always looking to see what and how they can benefit or receive.
Right.
And I realized that in business, at least when I decided with my Las Vegas practice that I was going to stop trying to see how many cases I can get,
right,
or which practices I can go go market to get clients from. But what if I turned it around a little bit? What do they need? How can I offer value?
Right.
And I started this shift in terms of my approach. I'm no longer looking for, hey, send me this, send me that. What's what I'm going to do for it? No, I look to see how can I offer value to the firm, to the relationship. And once I started leading with value, things turned
things changed
around dramatically.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm no longer extending my hands to get. I'm giving.
Right.
And I realized that once people realize that you're consistently and intentionally adding value to them, then the equation changes up. Because even without you knowing, later that starts yielding returns.
Right. Yep.
And it's only and it yields long-term returns because you've spent time to develop a foundation where you were genuinely offering value.
Yeah, they say people don't remember what you did; they remember how you made them feel. So you can give somebody the big check, but if your customer service or they felt neglected or they didn't feel heard, then they're not gonna come back. And then vice versa, the settlement might not be that big on the case, but if they felt like you cared, they felt that compassion, they felt like you were really in their corner fighting, then that's who they're gonna see in the person too. Yeah,
man, I honestly would come to you.
Yeah.
Just hearing this talk, I honestly would come to you.
Right.
I'm dead serious because, one, you speak, but it's authentic.
Right.
I can feel the authenticity coming across. You're speaking passionately about what you do, but also you're creating a culture where people begin to think, bigger in their spaces, right? It's not just here, but how can we get you to transform this now into the mindset of bigger everything? If I'm in my home with my family, how can I do this better? If I'm at a teacher, how can I get the class with the most students having A?
Yeah.
If I'm this, so I really like that, and I think if that's what the firm is doing, that probably is maybe a huge part of the core of the firm's success.
Definitely.
Because you guys are offering value to people. Man, it's really, 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 truly good to hear this. If you had to share anything about, ups and downs since you've started, unless it's been perfect. Because some people, they start on day one, they've been on 100 and they continue to be on 100. I mean, you could be that person. I don't know. But have you had ups and downs?
With the firm, no, we kind of been on 100. I'm not gonna lie.
That's amazing.
We've been with it.
That's amazing, man. Come on now.
One of the ups and downs is a story of when I took the bar. Took the bar. Thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
I felt, you take the bar, you feel a little shaky. So when I got my results back, I failed by 1 point.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So that
1
hurt.
point.
Yeah, by 1 point. So that hurt. And then I was broke and I was like, do I need to take it again? I gotta go back and study.
And I heard the bars are tough.
Yeah, you gotta study for like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
10, 12, 15 hours a day.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that hurt me. So went back, took it again, and that second time I was like, I can't fail again. I gotta make it. So, I studied 2 times harder. Sometimes I was studying 2 days in a row. I didn't sleep. I was looking like Moses. I was like a homeless man in there. And then so when I started practicing, I passed high enough to, wave into the DC bar. And then when I started practicing a couple months afterwards, they was like, "Oh, my bad. You made a mistake. You actually passed the first time."
You passed the first time?
Yeah, I passed the first time.
Oh my gosh, these people are killing.
Yeah. They made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a mistake. It was like a grading error with the thing. So it happened to a couple of us. So actually passed the first time. And, I just look at that as like, okay, I told you I've been winning. So, God had to test me, be like, okay,
amen to that.
I've been giving you all this, if something happens, are you gonna lose faith? Are you gonna break down? Are you gonna fold? Are you, what you gonna do? Are you gonna keep your faith strong? Are you gonna keep being the same person that's smiling every day?
Right.
Are you gonna keep being the person that, motivates others? So, that part, kind of broke me, but I take it as a sign, like, God had to test me.
Amen.
He had to,
Amen.
see his all's passion. And during that time when I failed the bar the first time, I had like a good job lined up, and that job was gone when I when I came back and passed the bar. But I think it's a blessing in disguise because with that job, it's a good job. I probably would have been comfortable, doing that versus going in on my own.
Yeah.
And then, going in on my own, that I have a limited potential, and so
amen.
Sometimes the door closes and a bigger one opens up, and you just gotta trust in God's process.
Folks, I think there you have it. The man himself, Attorney Josh Palmer. You got to trust God. And that failure, apparent failure, because I'm going to say apparent.
Yeah.
Potentially is just a lesson, right?
Yeah. There's
and God wants to do something for you greater,
right,
beyond that. And it's really how we handle that lesson and how we handle that time frame that determines what happens next. Because as you did, right, it could have been a disappointment, but it's understanding that through all of this, and God, you're still good. God, you're still on the throne. God, you're still in control. You're still in charge here. So this failure or this door closing, it's really just you redirecting me at this point. So let me just trust in your, in your direction.
Right.
Let me trust in your guidance, because I know what lies beyond this is going to be way, 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 way better than what I thought I was looking at initially.
Right.
I'm glad you kind of proceeded that way, because I'm of the same mindset.
Yeah.
And that's why these days, when things don't go as planned, I don't even get upset anymore. I'm just because I just know that if I'm walking with God and He's been leading me, that's His way of saying, Campbell, this is not the door, or this is not the time.
Right.
And so I simply just, okay, God, we've done this enough that I've seen how you've led. And the times when I've said, no, I know more, and I'm going to do something else, I've always regretted those times.
Yeah.
And so in seeing this repetitive pattern over and over and over in my life, these days I'm at a point where if it doesn't work out, or if the answer is not what I'm looking for, as opposed to being disappointed over it, I just, in the grand scheme of things, all things work together for good to them that loves God.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I'm going to take that this is just not the time, or this is not the door. And I can guarantee you that later on, once all revealed, I'm like, thank you, God.
Right. Yeah. Like my friends and family, they were like, you're always happy. You always smiling. Even if something bad happens, even something wrong happens, I'm always smiling, because it's like, all right, let's go.
Let's see what we can do.
Find a solution. Let's go. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. We got it.
Hey, man, it's such a pleasure chatting with you right now. And really want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to thank you for sharing bits and pieces of your life with us. This certainly will not be the last episode we're on this podcast, because there's more to talk about.
Definitely.
We just want to make sure that we give the folks, a an introduction to who Attorney Josh Palmer is. And then, of course, his practice model, what he's doing as a difference, and why we believe that folks need to see him and make him the choice from an attorney standpoint. Again, his value sets, his beliefs, and of course, his faith in God. Josh, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you joining me with the podcast.
I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, Chief.
All right.